Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon to our speaker, TS Dr. Muhammad Helmi Norman, to our host, Dr. Nizam, and all participants who are with us today for our final session of this second series of Apple Professional Learning. Today we're going to have the final sharing session, which is on the leveraging the Apple ecosystem in online teaching during the pandemic. And before I begin, as usual, I think the regular participants, they already know the arrangement of the slides, so we'll have to go through every time because we may have newcomers. So these are the topics that we have been sharing since 15 April and up until today, 28 April. Only slight change at the end of the session due to some circumstances. And we are glad to have Dr. Helmi today, representing the whole Apple Learning community to finally tie up what we have been doing since 15 April. Okay, and for your information also, this is a program organized by UKM in collaboration with UTAM, Apple Teacher Community Malaysia, as well as Mara Apple Teacher, and actually other bodies and institutions like IPTS as well. And these are all Apple professional learning providers that we have. Okay, I think it is hanging over there. All right. So, sorry. So we have 18 speakers overall. They are all either certified distinguished educators. Some of them are professional learning specialists. Some of them are professional learning providers, and as all of them are Apple certified teachers. Okay. And before that, those who have not joined our FB group, Apple Learning Community Malaysia, feel free to join. By all means, kindly join so that we have more people who can share your thoughts and also info in this group. You can always join this group. Okay. And as usual, before we begin, allow me to brief you the workshop guidelines, the online workshop guidelines. Okay. We would appreciate for all participants to ensure your mic is on mute mode during the session, because this session will be recorded, and therefore we would appreciate if there is no noise, extra noise, distraction from the side participant. So please use internet tekan start video during please use the chat feature to ask question during the presentation, and there will be a Q&A session at the end of the program. If you feel like you need to ask question orally, you shall wait until the end of the session, or perhaps if the trainer is okay and pause for you and allow you to ask question, you do so during that moment. Do not use the screen sharing feature when trainer is sharing his or her presentation. For participants who require attendance form, borang kehadiran and feedback forms will be shown before the session ends, especially for teachers as well as Mara lecturers and teachers. And not to forget, for smart attendance, UKM lecturers will be displayed at the end of the session. For other IPTA, IPTS, colleges, polytechnics lecturers, feel free to fill in the attendance for others. There will be 3 attendants, teachers, Mara, and others. So you just need to fill in the others, and we will work for the digital certificate for you in the future soon, inshallah. All right. So today we will have a sharing by the Dr. Muhammad Helmi Norman on leveraging the Apple learning ecosystem in online teaching during the pandemic. Before we begin, allow me to introduce Dr. Muhammad Helmi Norman. He is currently the Deputy Director of Teaching Innovations and Learning Technologies at the Centre for Teaching and Curriculum Development, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, and a Senior Lecturer or Assistant Professor at the Faculty of Education, UKM. So his research interests are in the areas of digital learning. Previously, he was appointed as a visiting scholar at the Schwartz Center for Computational Neuroscience, University of California, San Diego, USA, and was awarded as a visiting postdoctoral fellowship by Erasmus Mundus at the Faculty of Science and Technology, Bournemouth University, United Kingdom. He was also a master trainer for Educator 4.0 project organized by the Ministry of Higher Education for CPD of lecturers nationwide. He is an Apple Distinguished Educator and Apple Professional Learning Specialist. So, Dr. Helmi Norman, are you ready?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so without further ado, the floor is yours. Right, thank you. So
Okay,
I'll stop sharing. Sorry.
sure, no problem. Okay, let me share my screen first. So is everything okay? All right. Okay. Yeah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good afternoon to everybody here, to the professors, lecturers, teachers, and students, and the community members who have been with us from day one until now. So I'm Helmi, and I will be presenting on the title Leveraging the Apple Learning Ecosystem in Online Teaching During the Pandemic. And I would like to thank the moderator for today's session, Dr. Harwati, who has been working hard behind the scenes, and from University Muslim Malaysia, and also Dr. Nizam, who's our host today, handling the technical environment for this to happen. Okay, all right. So again, I'm Helmi, an Apple Distinguished Educator, class of 2019, and also the Deputy Director. So as Harwati told us, Deputy Director for the Center for Teaching and Curriculum Development, UKM, also with the Faculty of Education and a certified professional technologist, Malaysia Board of Technologists, and the Board of Directors, IABL, and the member of the Malaysian E-Learning for Public Universities Council, MEPTA. Okay. So the pandemic right now. So I would like to bring this comic to you. So it's been translated. It was in Malay, and so the comic is on Grandpa and Helmi. So the pandemic has caused us to shift in teaching and learning. So before this, it was face-to-face teaching, and there was a need for a car to go to university. So you need a transport. But now, in online teaching or online education, what you need is you need internet to go to the LMS, to go to the learning to go to the learning environment, to go to the classroom. So the virtual classroom. So this is a, let's say, a car or a transport. So you need that, the internet. So you need a good connection, and if you don't, during this pandemic, I think it's worth to spend, or you at least have access to that internet. All right. And the second thing you need is for face-to-face teaching. Before this, we go to the lecture halls, and we go to the the classes, and now what we need is a virtual space. So here we are currently in a virtual space, like WebEx and Zoom and others. So I think there's a necessity to understand that these two are important. And number three is need for digital content. Okay, so in face-to-face teaching, you use PowerPoints, but now needing for online content, and you have to think about students who don't have internet to LMS. So those are the things that need to be considered in an online, learning environment. All right. So online teaching and learning during the pandemic. Okay, so let me start with our story first, a recap, and then I will give you my story. All right. All right. So our story started from 18 to 31st of March 2020. So here the Apple teacher community organized various workshops from 18 to 31st. So started by I think yes, it was organized by Encik Razif. Razif is our Apple Distinguished Educator 2019, and Cikgu L Gamilo, an Apple teacher. And then we continued to 1st and to 14th of April. So with the Apple Professional Learning series, so this was hosted by University Technology, University Technical Melaka, Malaysia, UTM, and we had various speakers, and which was started by Dr. Jufrida, Dr. Nizamuddin, our host today, and ended by Prof. Madya, Dr. Azma Putra. So this was hosted by UTM. And then now we have concluded, or we have reached to the final of 15th to 28th April of our series, which we have hosts of experts here from IAB, UKM, from SDE School of Global Excellence, UKM also here, and then UTM, UKM, and we have Mara also with us, and MRSM, UKM, so even UNIMAP, not UNIMAP, UMP, and then Taylor's University. So this collaboration started from this, and we had our sessions which ran from 15 April to 28th, which we have today. Okay, so again, we would like to, and then this spurred for us to create this learning community. And actually now, today is a milestone because we have reached 1,000 members. And actually this group was only created by with 2 weeks. So again, thank you for joining us, and spread the word to make the community grow. So we also have the Apple Educators UKM and UTEM YouTubes. So you can have a look there to have, there are recorded videos there. So again, yes, this one, April, I think April 12th we started, and then it reached now is 1,000 members. Okay, now I go to the, by recapping all the lectures that we have, all the workshops that we have, let's say, have conducted over the 14-day period. So first, we started off with mindset. And I think this is a very important part of the teaching and learning in the pandemic, post-pandemic, pre-pandemic. So the mindset, you have to have a growth mindset to change, because before this, everything, again, with the comic, remember the grandpa? So he's driving a car. So I'm driving a car to the school. I'm driving a car to the university. So again, now with the mindset now, and now I'm stuck on a table. So what do? How do I teach from here? So you have to have the technology. So in this regard, we're using the iPad, the pencil, and then maybe the internet has to be good. So those are the aspects that you have to consider. And this was covered during the mindset change, where I and Prof. Kamal gave the talk on mindset change for online education using iPad during the pandemic. And so here's a screenshot of that. All right, so the second part that we covered is digital learner. So I think you have to also think of the digital student, the student over there. So they are digital citizens. So do they like teaching like now? Do they like animations? Do they like 3D? So those are the things that are different, because maybe we like still pictures, we like audio. So I think there's a paradigm shift that you have to think about, digital learners. All right, and the third, okay, so Encik Razif and Encik El Gamilo covered on digital citizenship. And you can have a look at these videos. And the third aspect was covered by Dr. Nizam and Puan Noreha on digital pedagogy. So I think the first is mindset, then you have to think about the learner, and then pedagogy comes along. I think it's important on how to use the right pedagogy for online education. And the fourth is synchronous collaboration, which was covered by Dr. Nizam. Sorry, Dr. Nizam, Dr. Jufrizal, sorry, Dr. Jufrizal or Jeff. Okay, so what he covered is how to use Pages for online collaboration. So that is you have to consider that. How do you teach online? How do you do group teaching? Let's say now I'm here. Students are over in Sarawak. Hi, students in Sarawak and Sabah. So see, so how do I collaborate with you guys? So that's I think what we have to consider and cover. And so do have a look at the videos by Dr. Juk. And here's the screenshot of his video. And aspect 5 is we covered on 3D augmented reality. So this one was by Dr. Nurafiza Adnan. So she covered on how to use Reality Composer in creating augmented reality experiences. I think if you have models, if you're teaching architecture, how do you show that, oh, this is the design I want from the 3D perspective? Because now in the pre-pandemic era, we could, okay, let's go outside and sketch. But now how do we do it? So we create these augmented reality experiences in the presentations or the teaching material. So here you can see that the Rafiza has modeled the heart, and these are the experiences that we wanted to create by mixing the real world and the physical, the real world and the virtual world. So aspect 6 is animated drawings. So animated drawings, Puan Asmawati has covered on animated drawings. So I think Keynote is very powerful in that aspect, and you can create stories using these animated drawings. 7, Dr. Harwati also covered on digital storybooks and those animated drawings that were done by Puan Asmawati. Here back into Dr. Harwati, and I think she did a brilliant job in, I don't remember the character, what was it? Anyway, so I think Hulk or something, yeah. So I think bringing stories to students, bringing stories to your audience is important. And aspect 8 is synchronous teaching. So Dr. Dr. Hassana, actually from UKM, taught on Arabic language synchronously on the iPad. So here she gave some tips on using green screen and adding that into Keynote and iMovie and producing that. And you had aspect 9 is 2D augmented reality, where Ustad Shukri covered on that, how to create AR learning using AR Maker, and then integrating that into your AR experience. And 10, digital music. I think this was covered by Miss Nora Hayati. She covered on GarageBand, how to use that to create music, digital, podcasts, and have the recordings. So we want to cover all the learning preferences of students, because we have students some prefer visual like me, some prefer audio, some prefer kinesthetic stuff. So these are the things that we have to think of in the era of pandemic and post-pandemic. All right. And aspect 11, Puan Zahara covered on sketching a comic. So like I did before, sketching that, I think brings a story. I think it's actually harder to create a comic, because you would have to, it's a very, one-sided plane, and then you have limited space. But I think summarizing that into the comic can bring value to your classes. And aspect 12 is virtual labs. Dr. Zakia from UTEM covered on how to create a virtual lab for Keynote. And 13 is 3D objects. Okay, sorry. This is, I got my slides a bit wrong. But anyway, so this is by Dr. Zakia, her virtual lab. And Dr. Azma Putra and Ustaz Rizwan from MRSM covered on how to create 3D models. And here you can see Sharper 3D. You can use this for engineering subjects, but again, you can also use it for social media. For social science subjects. Okay, and we arrived to today, and how to use the Apple Learning ecosystem in online teaching during the pandemic. Okay, so before we go on to my story, just a introduction or a brief, let's say, intro on the online learning communities available for Apple. So have a look at Apple Distinguished Educator at ade.apple.com. So here you can have a chance to be an educator, an Apple Distinguished Educator. So we have that 2 years in a row. 2 years. So the span of 2 years. So 2019, 2021, 2023. So have a look, and you can try to apply there. We have loads of great stuff from prominent Apple educators around the world. And we also have the Apple teacher community where you can go and try to apply for free. And finishing the certification, you can use it as a certificate for your continuous professional development. And we also have the Everyone Can Create. So have a look at these books. I really recommend you doing that, because how I learned how to draw is by using this Everyone Can Create drawing. I think it's lovely book. So have a look there on these resources. Again, the Apple Learning Community Malaysia, do have a look there. And we also have niche communities or specified for lecturers. So we have the Ahead. So go ahead and have a look at Apple Higher Ed Educators Malaysia, and then go and have for teachers. Go and look at atcichampion.my. Lovely people there. A lot of innovation going on there, and Maplet there with the Mara Apple Teacher. If you are a lecturer or a teacher at Mara, go and have a look at Maplet site. Okay, now, all right, now let's go to my story. All right. Okay. Now the pre-pandemic norm. Okay. So now we're in the new norm. Now the pre-pandemic norm was, what I did was with students. Actually, I love to use these pictures, use these examples, because they really bring a sense of, I'm very proud of my students that can, sort of transform the teaching and learning practices that they have never done before. Never use an iPad. Here, the student never use an iPad, never drew before, never, created music, created animations. And then again, I think you have seen this a couple of times. I usually in her workshops, but I love to share this example on, how she did it for Form 2 sound waves. Okay. Ooh.
Dr. Helmi, there is no sound.
There's no sound? Ooh.
Yep.
Okay. If there is no sound, let me just open my, okay, sorry about that. Let's just try to open it from my, here. Okay. Here, I hope it's, yeah, you can see. Let's see here. Sound. Okay. So let's try here. I hope there's sound. Is there sound?
No sounds.
Okay, it's okay. No problem. It's okay. No sound is okay. No problem.
It's okay.
It's okay. So yeah.
Are you using your Mac or are you using your iPad?
Actually both now. So, but before this iPad, then I transferred to Mac.
Are you using a server or direct?
As ever. Do you want me to disconnect?
Yeah, disconnect. Just use your Mac. Don't use a server so that you open your Keynote on Mac and play through on Mac.
Okay, I'll try again.
Yeah,
try
you
again.
have your Keynote on Mac, right?
Yeah, I'll try again.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, probably while Dr. Helmi is working on the technical issue, maybe you can hear from some of the participants. You can either put your thoughts in the chat
So you
box.
can't hear that?
Yep. Not yet.
Tell me, can you get out of the sharing first
Okay.
and come back? Because just now
Yeah.
probably because
Sharing.
of
Okay. All right.
You
Then
open
share
the
again.
file first and then you share again.
Okay, sure. All right. Let's play. Hope it works this time. Is it okay?
So far no sounds.
Okay. So it's okay. I think, yeah. Do I have
Maybe
to?
because
Yeah.
you want to show some examples, so I think if there is no sound, should be okay. But
Yeah, it's okay. I think it's okay. Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, it's okay. So let's proceed. And if I get the sound back, I will show it again to you. So again, okay. So you know what? Let me try to disconnect my AirPods. Let me try one last time.
okay,
Look, there's a cave.
I think don't tell me.
Sorry?
Meanwhile, perhaps anyone can just share your opinion in the chat.
What's inside there?
Oh yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, at least. Okay, right. Okay, let me show again. Okay. Cool.
Hi, I am Ame. What a wonderful day today. I am planning to walk around the jungle and appreciate the nature.
Okay, now as you see on the screen, the what the students did is they drew using animated drawings and then use the sound from GarageBand. And here,
Look, there's a cave. I wonder what's inside there. Let's take a look.
and here the student what the student does is transform the teaching and learning, flip it in making it a story.
Hello.
I think again, this is the most important slide. I think for teaching and learning. So what the student does is they capture that essence of that transformation of understanding. The student before, oh, I didn't understand. Oh, what sound waves? You have waves and actual waves there, and then the sound is the echoing from the cave. So I think this is the authentic experience that we want, because animations are meant to be meaningful. The teaching is meaningful. So this is impactful. I think even though it's just one student and then a wave in a cave, but I think that brings the immersiveness of the teaching and learning. So here another.
Now I remember. When sound travels in a given medium, it strikes the surface of another medium and bounces back in some other direction. This phenomena is called the reflection of sound.
All right, and again.
Good.
So okay, so what the student did is she transformed and make the theory at the back. So again, that's what we emphasize again and again. Do not give your theory at the first part of your teaching and learning. Make it contextual. So let's say for photosynthesis, right? Maybe like here, let's you have a tree, right? At your home. So how does the tree live? And there at that example is that the theory is given at the back. So sound waves, like, oh, you have a reflector, you have absorber. And then if you give that, okay, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. Okay, this is absorber and reflector. This is what we're gonna do for today. Everybody will be scared. All the students, oh my God, this is so hard. What we want to do is break the ice first. Break the ice, make the things easy, make it contextual, make it authentic, then you give the hard parts. And
Oh no,
again, I really
it's kind
love
of late. I
how
need to go
the
back
student
home.
does this.
Look at that aeroplane. It is so far, but the sound of the aeroplane can be heard from here. So, what do you think about this situation?
So again, in teaching and learning, I think the most important thing is reflecting. And again, this is another situation where the student looks at the airplane, it's like, oh, the bird, why does it sound like that? Oh, the airplane is so far, but we can hear it. So this sort of sums up sound waves and then in an authentic example. So I think this is a very powerful slides, just 3-4 slides, but this is
the, let's say, induction set that I think maybe you can show to the students using the Apple ecosystem, using the iPads, using the drawings, using the sound from GarageBand, and making it into a great presentation for the students. I think the most important thing is making the teaching and learning meaningful. All right, again, I would like to share again my students doing this song again. All right. Okay. All right. So what they created is photosynthesis. 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 Have you ever wondered, green leaf in nature, it can make life better? All right, somebody, please don't press the screen. Okay, thank you.
That sounds fun.
Okay, anyway, yeah, somebody requested to control the screen. Anyway, so photosynthesis again. Have you ever created a song via photosynthesis? I don't think so. And what we want to show is the affordance of the technology and making learning fun. Okay? It doesn't have to be, oh my God, mathematics. Do a song in mathematics. Do a song in science, about science. Do a song for English. Do a song for Bahasa Malaysia. Do a song for history. I think maybe hang tua, hang debat, fighting here, over there. So you can do it. I think why stick to one stigma, one syllabus? You know, like I mean, oh, the syllabus tells us to do this. No, we cannot change the syllabus because it's like this. Who says you can't? You can achieve the syllabus by using digital technology. Who says that you can't do that? So I think this is the mindset that we have to change in order for teaching and learning to be advanced. And I think, again, students and teachers and professors out there are using advanced technologies for teaching and learning in their classroom. But we in Malaysia, we have students, we have lecturers, we have students, we have professors who are using this technology. But I think we have to make it grow. And I think everybody can benefit from that. Okay, so again. Okay, so this led to a collaboration with Maxis. It's okay, no problem. So a collaboration with Maxis, where UKM and Maxis, we collaborated. Now, and all those, let's say, all those products by the students, if they are just an assignment, it becomes assignment. But what we did is we brought the industry and we collaborated into the industry. And then here you can find Cikgu UKM Season 1 on YouTube. So go to Maxis eClass and you can have the videos are created by the students in our class. But this is what we want from the teachers, from the professors, from the students. I love to see my students like, oh, this is my student did this. So this is what we want. We want to empower people. We want to empower students to create, these learning products that are beneficial to the community. Because if it's an assignment, it's just in your class. It's like, okay, yeah, I did the assignment in Dr. Hamill's class. Oh, yeah. But I forgot about it because it wasn't beneficial to the community. Now, this is what we want. Do something that is beneficial to the community, even if it's a small community in your kampong, in your village, in your pekan, in your city. Make it bigger, Malaysia, bigger, global. So I think every initiative counts, every product counts. So make it happen. I think students, if they're given the right pedagogy and then they're giving the right learning tools and environment, they will create wonders. And here I will show you an example. So these are my students, master students. See, this is the first class. They were scribbling around, having fun, and then so we went to Maxis and recorded some scenes. And here, see the smiles on that faces of those faces is what we want from teaching and learning. So the smiles, the fun, because actually we want to teach them something new. And and they've never been or maybe have limited access to working with the industry. So here again, having fun, see the smiles there, and this is one of the.
Abang, tengok tu. Paraglider lah.
Wow! Wow, saya dah terbang 50 meter ke atas. Macam ada yang tak kena lah. Alamak! Dia akan terlepas di paras sifar permukaan laut. Tidak, saya akan terlepas ke bawah. Kedalaman di bawah permukaan laut bernilai negatif.
Tolong, selamatkan dia.
Jangan bimbang, nilai negatif semakin mengecil apabila dia tiba ke atas.
Yeay, dia berjaya diselamatkan. Oh, jadi maksudnya pergerakan ke atas mewakili simbol positif. Pergerakan ke bawah mewakili simbol negatif. Popo dan Nenek macam nak pulang je tu. Popo, Nenek!
All right. So again, what the students did is they really, I think, change the dynamics of like positive and negative, and integers. Like, okay, oh, so you have positive to and I think one of the things I love about it is first is the contextual, the authentic. Oh, okay. Oh, in the beach. Oh, kat pantai. Oh, we can. Oh, there's things happening there that like, oh, I see mats there. Oh, that's positive. That's negative. That's what we want from students to have that mindset. Constantly thinking about teaching and learning, and having a meaningful experience in that. Again, so let's go to the video again, and I'll show you one by one what's happening. Okay. So, again, I love how the students chose the characters and drew the characters. Popo and Nene, cute looked at. So this was all done in on Keynote using the Apple Pencil on Keynote, and I think the workshops here have covered a lot of that.
Abang, tengok tu. Paraglider lah.
And again, do you see that the story, there's very little movement. It's like slide 1, then slide 2. It doesn't have to be animated. Everything doesn't have to be animated. And the storytelling, abang look at two paraglider. So I think it's between a brother and a sister.
Whoa!
And look at that wow sound, very right on time. So that is important, the timing of the animation.
Wow, saya dah terbang 50 meter ke atas.
But again, this is the powerful I think theory in that regards to the scale. And actually this is not even here, but this is what animation allows us to do, right? Again, that arrow positive going up with the sound, very powerful.
Macam yang tak kena lah. Alamak! Dia akan terlepas di paras sifar permukaan laut.
All right. And again, oh my God, sorry. Oh, okay. So what happened there is, sorry again. Okay, let's play again and I'll drag that again. Right. Ooh, okay, very sensitive. Okay, so what happened is the students created a climax. So again, that story, that teaching and learning, where's your climax? Where's your introduction? I think students, teachers, professors have to be good storytellers, because you want to tell a good story to the audience and then to make them understand. I mean, like very, let's say, for instance, history. It's a very hard subject. I mean, for me, because it's like, oh my God, history. Oh, I'm so bored because I have to remember a lot of things. But I mean, if you show it in graphical format, in a story, oh, you know, before this, my great grandfather told me the story about the Japanese. Like, oh my God, oh, this is good. So, you know, like, oh, this is this story from a way back ago.
Okay.
I think we have disconnected. He has disconnected with us.
I think we lost him. Perhaps he'll be coming back in a while, maybe due to the internet connection. But this one is from his another device.
Kedalaman di bawah permukaan laut bernilai negatif.
And again, see, tolong selamatkan dia. It's like, oh, help, please. So again, that that meaningful is called, I think, you have to put the animations, the drawings, the sound, the narration has to be point on. So that's the difference of a good animation and a bad one.
Jangan bimbang, nilai negatif semakin mengecil apabila dia tiba ke atas.
So again, slowly scaffolding, I use Bonoi's word, scaffolding that learning into this is great.
Yeay, dia berjaya diselamatkan. Oh, jadi maksudnya.
So again, I think what the students did is they recapped positive and negative at the end. Again, I think the most important thing in teaching and learning, after everything you've given, give a reflection. What did we do? This is the final thing. So again, right? Reflection. All right. So the new norm. Now that was the previous norm. I could do that in my classes. Now I'm stuck in the house. Okay, how am I going to do my teaching and learning? The new norm, pandemic, post-pandemic. You know, it's very different. It will be a new world, believe me. And I think digital learning, online learning will play a bigger role after this. And the new norm, again, going back to this, I love this. How to use, actually this was taken from inspiration from the Prime Minister. He was talking about Chikias, like, oh God, this is so good. He gave the example very contextual, you know, like, oh, Chikia is buying this. Oh, he used you know, the Malaysian economics and just told it in a very contextual story. So that's why what I was like, oh, this is good. Let's take this and put it in comics. So that's what we did. Again, I think sort of summing up that animation, drawing, comics into a powerful thing. So again, I think these are the three factors. You still have to think about it: internet, technology, the Apple ecosystem, needing of a virtual space. So maybe having Zoom, having WebEx. I think those environments are important. Choose the best one that suits you and your students, because some have higher technological needs and some have lower ones. And the need for online content, I think these series of workshops that were done from March until April, we have them in recordings. Do have a look and then learn how to create animations, objects, screen recordings, comics, augmented reality to create that meaningful digital product. And I think we arrived to the, let's say, end of my presentation, which is, I think, let's start today and make your own story. And yeah, let's open and Q&A. But I will show you a bit on, if I can share my iPad, I hope it works. Maybe I share on a little, tips and tricks how to do the comic thing that I've been doing just now. maybe show you a brief introduction on how to do it, and you know, and ending that with the session. So I have like 15 minutes, or how long do I have, Dr.
We have about 15 to 20 minutes, but don't worry. So we are now going to open for Q&A session, Dr. Helmi?
Yeah, open for Q&A. While I do my you know, setting up of the comic, I'll just show you a little bit on how to do the comic thingy, and yeah, while answering your Q&A, the floor. Yeah, give back.
It's very multitasking while doing working on whatever you wanted to show us, and at the same time you will be trying to answer questions.
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Elmi, thank you very much for the sharing. As for now, we are going to open for Q&A session. If you have anything or any thoughts to share, feel free to unmute your mic and share with us your thoughts or your story, perhaps. If you want to share your story back to your school or back to your institution. So we open for voices.
Hello. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Salam.
Prof. Helmi, thanks for a great presentation. And I was just wondering, since you're part of the, let me just, I'm in my bed, so I don't want to show myself.
Captain Said. Okay, yes, yes.
Okay. No, I just want to ask you, one of the challenges that you might have is because you are representing Apple. Now, how do you deal with, at the same time you promote, at the same time, there's a lot of good opportunities with Microsoft products, or maybe with Samsung, I don't know, or maybe with Google. How do you balance that? You still with Apple itself. What kind of relationship do you have with Apple, and how would you recommend dealing with that in terms of implementing e-learning or online learning and so on? I'm putting you on the spot here, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you for the mind-blogging question from Captain Zaid. So yeah, again, I think when you're using technology or when you're selecting technology, you have to have a look at the educational affordance that the technology offers. And this is actually an Apple learning community. But again, I think there's a lot of possibilities with other technologies. Again, for me, I do have, I am an Apple Distinguished Educator and an Apple Professional Learning Specialist. But again, I started from, I didn't know anything. I think it was the first workshop I did with Apple was with Professor Madia Dr. Azma. So Associate Professor Dr. Azma, he was way back in UKM, and he did a serious like workshop. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Oh, this is cool stuff. And I started using, it's like, oh, this is so good. And again, it's not just so good, but what can you do? Like for iPads, I think the powerful thing is you can draw with, again, let's say Microsoft PowerPoint. You can draw using Microsoft PowerPoint and animate at your drawing. So again, there are softwares there. It's not. I think it's not a battle between Microsoft is good, Apple is good, Google is good. But what can it offer? And I think what the iPad offers is quick, easy. It's like, okay, I want to do music. Great, use GarageBand. Poof, easy. How to use animation? Use Keynote. Poof, easy. And I will show you a bit on how to use that, how my students did that, even though I think it's a repetition from the first workshop, but I think there are new people here. I'll just show you a bit on how to do that, while I set up my drawings. And I think, again, the educational affordance is what is, I think is important here while for choosing your technology.
Okay, so basically it's not about the battle of which technology is the best, Dr. Helmi?
Yeah, I think not the battle of which, but which offers you the easiest to do. And I love the iPad because it's easy for me to create. I can bring this around everywhere. I can bring my pencil. I can draw. I can put notes. Everything in one place. But if you want to do it on your Chromebook, like, okay, my Chromebook, oh no internet, I can't do that. I have to download it. But again, it's about leveraging on that.
Oh, can I interject? Sorry, sir, can I interject?
Sure.
I was just wondering. No, I use Apple. When I draw, I use only Apple. I mean, I use iPad Pro and stylus. But what I'm wondering is, does Apple have an affordable solution for? Because Malaysian we have like what, five? I don't know how many students. We got 420,000 teachers. We got 10,000 or 11,000 schools. I heard we got like what, 5 million students or 10 million students. Does Apple have affordable solutions? Because I love Apple products, but they're quite expensive. So do they have actually an alternative for those who cannot afford it?
Yeah, true. Thank you for that second mind blogging question. Yeah, again, I think it's okay. Uh, you know, okay, for textbooks, let's say, again, for textbooks, for books for Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, Form 5, you have 5 years of textbooks. If you create that and put that in an iPad and all the books are here, I think it's better for students. You have people are complaining, oh, beratnya bag, oh, this is a heavy bag, oh, all the books have to be, carried by, primary school students. But I think if you bring this to the classroom, voila, it solves. And this. So I think yes, it's quite a challenge for the cost, but I think you can get it. You can get an iPad 1,000 plus ringgit. But again, if schools and organizations work together in let's say segmenting that, I think it could work. I think it's a very powerful tool. Again, I'm not pro against anything, but again, the educational affordance is what students, and what if the students have this, they can really create something. So yeah, maybe let's hold the Q&A first in a bit. Let me show you what can you do with iPads, and then move on to Q&A. Let me give me 10 minutes to set this up. Let me.
Maybe meanwhile you're doing that, if they have questions, anyone has questions, just put it in the chat box first. And after the short sharing by Dr. Helmi, we will go back to the questions, Dr. Helmi.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay.
So let me share my screen, which is okay. So now I've shared my screen again. So again, let me show you. I think on how to do this drawing. These students, how they did this. Okay, so you can actually have, let's say, from Safari. Let's say maybe I don't know, cartoon. Okay, cartoon or something. Okay, so you can have you can draw from actual cartoons or a 3D one. If you really want something different, maybe just choose a 3D animation, or okay, let's say this shoelace, right? Okay, let me create a new presentation here. New one, white one, right? And going on, choose the blank one, right? So with okay, so I'm using split screen here, putting it here. All right. Again, we do not want you to copy and paste, but again, if it's tracing, it's okay because you are tracing and the pixel becomes yours. So that's why I'm showing you an example here, even though I took it from the internet, but still I'm drawing over it. So again, I think these are again shown in our let's say in our workshops and in our recordings. So press the paintbrush button here, put down the opacity, and then make it a what do you call a paper. Right. Oh, please do not press annotate. Okay. All right. Anyway, so again, let's say you choose any drawing tool, pencil. Have the pencil here. Okay, let's have that. Okay, yeah. And again, it doesn't have to be really from this. You can draw, okay. And maybe change a bit. Change the nose, change the mouth, okay. Change the shirt. Okay, and if you have more than 30% that you change, I think it will be all good, okay. Doesn't have to be really good, but I think if I have time, I'll show you a better example. Anyway, so what you do is you have the drawing there, delete that, and you have okay, not so good drawing. I'll show you a better one. Okay, so what I want to show you is the affordance of animating and add build in and have the line draw. So that's the one of the easiest thing I think for educational affordance for you to because you're not an artist. I'm not an artist. Look at my drawing. Okay, so but it allows you to capture the environment from the internet and put it in your classroom. So that's one thing. Again, so that's Keynote, and again, GarageBand. Okay, GarageBand for drawings, for animations. Again, how the students did that is they use live loops, and in live loops, there's a lot of free content here. Again, I think Animal Kingdom was used a lot in that the students. So you have these sounds, right? Okay, all available free, and then you can include it in the drawings and in the keynote presentation. All right. So again, let me show you one example again by the students using pages, and I love this example. I'm showing it again and again because the students they captured how to use green screen. I'll show you how to do that. So this is on coronavirus. Okay, the students create an ebook. This is what we want in our teaching and learning, right? The innovation is there from the students. This is what we want, empowering of the students. So the students can draw, can create in the fly. That's what we want. Again, education is what we want here. And as you can see, maybe show another example of the students. I love this. I love this book by MRSM Ghazali. So the students really did a good job in capturing coronavirus.
On 22nd of January, Aisha and Amna went to the park for a stroll after they finished their meal.
So how they did this is one day they created all of this, and in one day they created this, and the story goes, and this one can be actually exported to EPUB. So EPUB is available. If your students do not have iPads, you can still use them for on other platforms such as Android and Windows. So again, maybe resonating back to Captain Zaid's question on Windows, or maybe if the students can afford iPads, then maybe you can still offer them the the solutions which are available on EPUB using HTML to export and giving it a massive audience. All right, again in iMovie, so again we covered on iMovie. I think this was done before. I'll show you again how to do it. Okay, let's take one video. All right. Yeah. All right. Let's take this video then. Okay. So this is the student. Maybe yes. Right. And what the student did was, all right. Okay. You have this in Keynote, right? So what my student did. And I have another drawing, which is, where is it? All right. Blue screen. Favorites. All right. Okay. Here it is. So here, what I have is me in the blue screen here. All right. So, all right. And you can plus, oops, wrong button. Sorry. Again, the educational affordance, the easiness of using this. Just press the 3 button here. All right. So 3 button here, or the more button, right? Press that and press green blue screen. So again, CGI. So I have that for my, right? So easy peasy. And again, for this to happen, you need a big studio before this, but now the educational affordance that is offered by the Apple Learning ecosystem is very tied to this. And again, it's going for that educational affordance is what we want. And so this is how to do that. And maybe lastly, I'll just show you how to do a comic. This is an app by you have it Sketches and Sketches Pro. So Sketches Pro is now free, I think, until a certain date. And Sketches is free. So Sketches is free. Sketches Pro is paid. Now it's free. So you should download it quickly. And I'll show you how to do that. All right. So these are some of the drawings that I've done in using that. So let's start with this sheet first. All right. So how to do this is you have a lot of stationery over the left here, and on the right here you have some layers. So this is the icon for the layer. So you have the layers. I think layers are important in when creating a comic. And let's say you have you use the upper one, which is, yeah, I don't know what it's called because I'm not an artist, but you have the pencil thingy. So you have the pencil thingy, and you know, this is good. I think if you go have a look on YouTube, so you have this. This is what is usually done. You draw that, you know, sort of, you know, how to have the structure ready, okay, and or the guideline, and then when you go to drawing, just press another layer, add another layer here, and use this other tool. This is I think it's the paintbrush. I love this tool because it you know, it's not very flat. This is the whiteboard, very flat, and so I like this one because it's like sort of, yeah, you know, sort of have that tip. So let's start with the nose here. Oops. Okay. So nose, and then maybe eyes here, and then eyes. Okay. So you have that guide and that face. Okay. So okay, and don't worry about it. You can just undo if you don't like it, and then whoops, wrong. Okay, but anyway, so here you can have that. Maybe not so good. All right. We have that copia first, and then have that auto. Okay, here. Okay, so the face is somewhere there. Anyway, so you see that the drawings can be created straight from iPad, and here I love this this tool is how do you use that is text actually, and if you have that, you have these great text. Let's say here, I am grandpa. Say, I am granny. Okay, right. Okay. For instance, and then you can just make it bigger, and then make it a turn if you want. So you can just turn a bit if you want, and so you have that there. And if you want the the guidelines to be deleted, you can just have deletion there, and see I created in what, 5 minutes. So I think again, it's about the affordance of the technology itself, and again, using that coloring. So let's say if you use this one, I really don't know what the name of it is. I should I should go and find out. Huh? So let's say,
it's easy when you did it.
so I really don't know what it's called, but I mean, like, yeah. So here, see, coloring it, and so having that, maybe you can change colors here, have a lighter tone over here, you know, and have a lighter tone over there, and then maybe having it darker a bit there, you know, making that like a 3D thing. Yeah. So I think again, having fun with these. Where's the splash one? I think. Oh no, not this one. Is this the splash one? Yeah. So see, so you have this splashy thingy, and then like, oh, splash, 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 splash here, having fun. I think it's like again digital drawing board, digital PowerPoint, like a slide, slides with Keynote, and then an ebook. Your studio is in here, your video studio, CGI, green screen, a lot of things that you can do. And then actually we're just focusing on native ones. And then this is one of the third-party apps. I think there's a lot of third-party apps. Go and have fun. And I think there's a lot of things that you can offer. I mean, there's offered here. And for instance, let's say I want to copy something from my previous stuff. Let's say, okay, I have this, and I want to copy, let's say, this one. Okay, this one with my signature here. Just copy, and then when you use that, it's copied, and just go to the other screen, and then just press, whoops, lazy. Use this button here, 3 more button, and then just press paste. Voila, it's there again. So I think again, if the more you draw, the more you create content, I think it's not about creating new content every time. Using that content, how do I use this one? Oh, this is good. Oh, okay, let's erase that, and it's like, okay, I don't want this one. Okay, let's delete this one. Oops, today maybe choosing small eraser. Okay, let's say, okay, okay, lama pula napadami.
Tell me, meanwhile, there are some questions in the
Yeah,
chat.
sure.
Can you take one or two?
Sure, no problem. Yeah.
There is a concern on the accessibility of the content that could reach the students, especially those in kampongs area, those are without internet connection. So what will be your stand? Is there any ways for you, for us educators, to bridge whatever digital content that we have prepared?
Good question.
And
I'll
for the
just
students
use
who are...
my slide here, which I have prepared for that. But again, actually, I was trying to do something with this drawing, but I didn't have time, so I just stopped anyway. So thank you for that question. I think you can. I think let's answer it here. So I think it's about high connectivity and low connectivity. Okay. So how good? I mean, the students. Again, it's about learner technology, teacher technology, and then the let's say the kendaraan or the vehicle, the car that the Atuk was driving. So you have to have the vehicle for that, which is the internet connectivity. So technology of students are important too. If they don't have a good technology, I mean, they have like just a smartphone or maybe not a phone. So they will have to have a phone. It's like how do you go to classes without buying books? So that was the before norm. I mean, the previous, like the pandemic. But now you're in the pandemic. You have to spend for technology. I think that's the crucial thing. Again, I know that there are B40s, that there are hardcore, but again, trying to leverage that. I mean, they actually have to have one smartphone, or then how do I give internet to them? How do I give connectivity to them? Maybe you can put all your content into a thumb drive and then just post it to the students. But again, the students have to have a laptop in order that to play. So again, it's about technology for the students, for the teachers, and trying to bridge that.
For the learning.
Yeah, for the learning.
It's like having a device and internet. I think.
And true. And again, one more thing, Dr. Harwati, before moving to that other question, is asynchronous and synchronous teaching. So synchronous teaching requires a lot of higher bandwidth connectivity. Like now we're doing it in WebEx. I think there's a lot of bandwidth that we have to use because it's synchronous and everybody has to have good internet connection for this to happen. But you can have a look at asynchronous teaching. Have that learning content for lower connectivity levels of students. So you have that, let's say this is recorded, and give that to students. I mean, trying to, giving that, let's say, bandwidth issues. So trying to make it smaller. If the students don't have internet, don't do video files then. Do a drawing just like I did. Give a comic. give a book. So I think like give a Word file that is having less megabytes or less memory size. So I think that's the answer to the question.
Okay, great. I think they have answered questions from few participants here in the chat box. We have one more from Mr. Sam, I believe. How do you set up 20 to 30 students in class using iPad for assignment? The students, not all students have an iPad. iCloud on browser also don't support Pencil and don't have iMovie, GarageBand. How do you overcome this limitation?
True. That's a good question. So again, there are three things again. So let me just maybe scribble that down. So here, so again, it's learner. I think. Oh, bad spelling. Bad. So I think learner, and teacher. So it's learner, teacher, and technology. So having that. Okay. So bad writing. Anyway, so quick because I'm like thinking and writing. Anyway, I don't want to waste time on that. So technology, so learner, students, and teacher. So the teacher, I think if you have an iPad, it's good. Create content, and then if your students first, I think it's good to know the connection of the students, whether they are like in rural areas, do they have internet access, how long is that. I think the need analysis process is important there to know if the students can afford, have accessibility to that. So for then you have to have the technology for the teacher. And then for the students, do they have iPads? Do they don't have iPads? Then work around that. Do they have iPhones? Then if they don't, work around that. Do they have laptops? Then work around that. I think if you and again, let's say and the platform that you're using is you have to consider WebEx and Zoom. Is Zoom having the bigger bandwidth, or is WebEx? And does iPad support WebEx? Does Zoom support WebEx? I mean, there's a lot of things that we have to consider. Again, I think those are the things. Again, this is the new norm, but I mean, technology plays a big impact on that, and we have to think of the three things. So the transport, which is the internet, and the technology of the students, and the technology of the teachers or the lecturers, professors.
Okay, Dr. Helmi, one more thing. I think perhaps you may share with us what would be, one from Mr. Zaid mentioned about the main idea is to have students bringing their ideas to life and creating content, and how to empower students to acquire this opportunity to experience their technology and tools. And perhaps you can share with us the SDE experience on what the students are creating under that program.
True. So we have a collaboration with SGE, so School of Global Excellence is Sekolah Alam Shah, and some schools.
I think 10 schools.
Yeah, 10 schools. Yeah, Sri Putri and others. So what the students did is they have the technology in place, and maybe let me show you. Ooh, this is gonna be a. All right.
I think probably answer that within 1 minute, because we are almost up.
My time's up. Yeah, sure. So let's just scroll here quickly. Oh, whoops, oopsie daisy, not that one. So let's scroll here quickly, and with 1 minute, I'll answer that for you. So again, I'll show you this video before, but I love this video is because this is how the students really captured on how they integrate. So this is the students using only the iPad and creating this, this acting, the technology drama.
Hey, why don't you help me?
the
So again,
techno drama,
yeah, technology drama. Again, the students are sort of animation on the back, and on Keynote, and then having that full screen effect, which I showed you using iMovie. So these are I think the wonders that students can create. See here, again, this one I think is by TKC. So what they created. So let's see here. Again, these drawings, and again, I think this one. I love this part. So they're actually talking to their friends. Okay. All right. So calling. And
Guys,
see
I
here,
just reached like
sort of
10,000
the
followers on
augmented
Instagram.
reality experience, having
God,
the
that's great.
hologram, the
Only
blue
at
hologram. You can do it in
3K.
clips. There's a lot of affordance. I think is choosing the right technology for the right purposes and then making it meaningful to students. Sorry, I exceeded 1 minute.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Dr. Helmi. I think there are a lot of not just questions but also thoughts in the chat box. We appreciate your thoughts. Thank you very much. But because of the time constraint, I feel sorry that Dr. Helmi will not be able to answer all. But I think we would appreciate if Dr. Helmi can summarize in one sentence whatever you have shared with us today, and also concerning whatever being raised by the participants, perhaps in one sentence for you to conclude what you have presented and shared with us today.
A little bit heavier.
Dr. Nizam, we have some sound here.
Okay, great. Thank you, Dr. Nizam, for that. And Dr. Awasi, the question was summing it up. So again, I think I mean, with the right technology, you can produce wonders. And I believe for my this is from my personal opinion that I usually like to try out technologies, and I think the iPad is the best to create content. So create content, create creative content that gives an immersive learning and teaching experiences to the students and achieving meaningful learning. I think that's the important thing. And again, do share your story. I showed my story, I showed our story, but please share us your story in the Apple Learning community. We would love to have your sites and your products there. Please fill it up with things that you change your classroom settings, change in your classes during the pandemic, before pandemic, post pandemic. We'd love to make it a bigger community. And thanks, and do make it more fun and happening at that learning community. Thank you. Dr. Harwati, your mic is muted.
Thank you so much, Dr. Helmi Norman, for the sharing, for today's sharing, and for summarizing on behalf of me. No, I'm just joking. All right. So, without further ado, again, thank you so much, Dr. Helmi Norman. May I share my screen again? There was a great sharing. I think yes, we do have a lot of concern. It's not about the technology; it's about how we leverage the technology, and that is what we are trying to share today, regardless of whatever technology we are using. Okay, maybe right. Screen broadcast. Okay, so I'm sharing my slides again. Right. To all participants, thank you very much for staying with us for